Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about the idea that eating clean will potentially give you better gains and better results in the gym. And some of it's not really obvious, because a lot of times people understand that things like calories in and calories out determines a lot about your body fat. Obviously it's probably the largest factor in changes in scale weight. Like we understand this. And people do get caught up into the if it fits your macros thing. But when it comes to the concept of cleaner eating, and hopefully you guys understand what that means, meaning you're eating not a lot of ultra processed foods, and the foods you're eating haven't been excessively stripped of nutritional value. Obviously some cooking and different things affect some of this stuff, but sometimes it affects it positively, sometimes it affects it negatively, and sometimes it affects it really negatively. So what we're looking for here is having foods with really good nutritional value, foods that have lots of antioxidants, phytonutrients, certain minerals, certain vitamins, protein, right? These things, okay? This is what we're talking about, all right? So what I mean by that, let's say whole milk is probably better than butter, calorie for calorie, as an example. Why? It has all the protein and B12 and magnesium and stuff still in it. All that stuff gets stripped out. None of that's in the butter. It's all gone. So, that's a perfect example, right? This is a perfect example. You want fairly antioxidant rich food. You want it to retain its nutritional value. We're looking for vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. The same thing with various vegetables and things. You don't want something that's been stripped of its nutritional value, okay? We don't want a bunch of just empty calories. So, that's another example, right? Would you rather eat a potato, or would you rather have a potato deep fried in refined oil that's added a bunch of calories? Because if you're going to eat a certain number of calories, okay, this is where we're going to go with this. Let's say that you gain muscle. To usually gain muscle, you don't always have to overeat, by the way. But let's say you're even at maintenance calories, okay? And you probably don't want to be losing weight if you're trying to maximize muscle growth. So let's say you need 3,000 calories. But if you're adding 400 calories of fried vegetable oil to fry those potatoes in, you're missing 400 calories of cleaner foods. That could have been filled with some more protein. That could have been filled with more potatoes. That could have been filled, with some peanut butter, right? Something else that has more nutritional value, brings more to the table. Also stuff that causes less inflammation, less insulin resistance. So why? Why does this matter? All right, think in terms of the inflammation and the insulin resistance alone. All right, training already creates inflammation. Our body's already dealing with the inflammation as a response to training. If our body is dealing with overall just chronically elevated inflammation because we're eating more highly refined foods, more refined sugars, refined fats, right? All these things, right? If this is happening and our body is getting certain amounts of extra inflammation from it, it's having to deal with that inflammation instead of directing it towards training. Okay? It's going to impact recovery. If we're recovering less, we're not going to be able to train as hard. We're not going to be able to adapt as well or recover as quickly from our training. Therefore, we're going to gain less muscle from it. We're not going to be able to train as hard. Right? We're going to make less gains in the gym. And you're going to feel worse in general. Okay? The big part of it. The same thing when it comes to the antioxidant status. A lot of minerals affect hydration of your muscles. People forget that. Potassium, magnesium, these things affect hydration status. Okay? More of them is generally going to lead to, within reason, better hydration and stuff of your muscle tissue. That's a good thing. All right, the antioxidants, the same thing, controlling inflammation. So if your diet has a bunch of just empty junk calories, we're getting less antioxidants. And our antioxidants from our different foods in food source, not talking about isolating vitamins. There have been found to be problems with that, just megadosing vitamin C or something. That runs into problems. In fact, that may actually cause cancer. Someday to that. That may even blunt training response. But generally, mixed antioxidants from more whole foods usually reduces inflammation. And it's been found that there's no upper threshold on the amount that seems to have at least minor health benefits. So we come over and look at that and go, okay, so if this helps, again, with inflammation, overall health, we're going to recover better from our training. We're going to make a little better muscle gains. Okay? So we need to be clear on that. That's going to help with our growth because we recover. And I always tell guys, we only grow from the training that we recover from. We don't grow from the training that we do in the gym. We grow from the training that we recover from. So people hear that and then they think automatically, oh, so we just have to limit our training, Well, not necessarily. How about you work on the recovery end? So if you want to benefit from those extra 2 sets of curls or bench or squats that you did, right? If you're starting to exceed your recovery ability, man, adding some more clean foods to your diet may be what you need to push to that break point. You don't necessarily need to train less per se. You need to work on the recovery end. It works both directions. Because what if you're already doing only a certain amount of volume and it's already severely low, and then you're not recovering from that because of your diet? Well, now we're running into problems. So eating better, eating clean, okay? So the antioxidants, and the same thing, insulin sensitivity. A lot of junk foods cause insulin resistance. They reduce insulin sensitivity. That's not a good thing. Like the insulin sensitivity in our muscle tissue is critical for growth. And the more insulin sensitive our muscle tissue is, the larger an anabolic response it gets from protein, carbs, everything else. Okay, so even if you want to make the most out of the protein, people are like, I'm going to eat a bunch of protein. Well, are you getting the benefits? You have good insulin sensitivity. You're getting the best anabolic response and signal from it. So a cleaner diet with more whole foods, less junk, right? And especially less refined sugars, less refined fructose, is generally going to improve insulin sensitivity more. And if our insulin sensitivity is improved more, we're going to gain more muscle easier. Our muscle tissue is going to be fed a little easier. Less insulin response is required to shuttle nutrients into your muscles. And in fact, it's going to bias them more and more towards those nutrients. Okay, so the insulin you're producing, again, helping feed muscle tissue more efficiently. Like, this is what we want. We want this efficient system. We want a system that's insulin sensitive. We want a system that's controlling inflammation. We want a system that handles recovery well. Okay, a lot of it is diet. A massive part of it's diet and nutrition. And if we're eating mostly clean foods, okay, whole foods, foods that are rich in protein, foods that are rich in antioxidants, foods that are rich in different vitamins and minerals, okay, in a good, highly absorbable form, especially in their mixed matrix in the food, this is going to facilitate better gains in the gym because you're going to recover better. You're going to have better nutrient partitioning. Your muscles are going to be fed easier. Okay, this is a positive. This is what we want. So it's not just about body fat, guys. It's not just about that. It's also about your gains in the gym, and it's also about just feeling good and quality of life. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.